One of the things that baffles me most about Rachel Zegler is not that she's rude, arrogant, and opinionated, because let's be honest, there's no shortage of annoying celebrities in Hollywood. It's really just how ungrateful and self-entitled she seems, especially given that she's at such an early stage of her career. A career that, if you think about it, has never really taken off. While Zegler's big break may have come in 2019 when Steven Spielberg had cast her to star in his West Side Story remake, what most people don't realize is that this movie was a rare box office failure for Spielberg, and it's not like Zegler's performance in that movie really won anybody over either. Next, Zegler had a supporting role in Shazam 2, another box office failure, and again, while I realize that she only had a supporting role in that movie, it's not like her presence there helped the movie's bottom line either. In fact, to date, Zegler's only real box office achievement, if you can even call it that, is that she co-starred in a Hunger Games prequel that after production and marketing costs made a very negligible profit, a far cry from the type of numbers the Hunger Games franchise had made when it was led by Jennifer Lawrence. So in reality, Rachel Zegler has never proven herself to be the type of marquee star that she thinks she is. And based on the negative feedback we've been seeing for Disney's upcoming Snow White live-action remake, it looks like that movie is tracking to be a major box office disaster as well. Which is why Zegler's new movie Y2K that just came out this weekend was a very crucial one for her if she wanted to prove that she was a real bankable star in Hollywood. And as you can see, based on box office numbers, it turns out that Y2K, a horror comedy flick, was considered yet another Zegler failure. Now, what's interesting about Y2K is that its production budget was only about $15 million before additional marketing costs, so the movie really didn't need to make all that much money at the box office to just break even, and usually horror movies have a certain genre audience built into them, but they absolutely didn't show up for this movie at all, which is why Zegler's Y2K movie made only $2 million this weekend, and that's nothing short of a disaster. Now to be fair, I've seen the movie, and it certainly has its issues, but more than anything, it does prove again that Rachel Zegler is not a significant box office draw. Y2K takes place in an alternate version of 1999 on New Year's Eve, where a technical bug causes random electronics and machine to rise up against humans, killing some in the process and trying to assimilate others, much like the Borg on Star Trek. This is a callback to the actual fears that people had at the turn of the millennium that never ended up materializing. At the heart of the story are Eli and Danny, two teen friends that are considered losers that attend a New Year's party where they want to meet girls. Eli is secretly in love with Rachel Zegler, who is apparently the greatest computer programmer of all time. And once the machines start attacking the humans, the kids escape to different places in order to avoid them, ultimately leading up to a final showdown where the teens, assisted by Limp Bizkit singer Fred Durst, confront the machines and try to destroy them using Rachel Zegler's hacking skills. And if the description I gave you sounds especially dumb, that's because it is! But even so, I do think that somewhere in this movie were buried a few interesting ideas that could have been explored in a much better way in the hands of a better production team. The 90s nostalgia and teen situations could have legitimately served as a foundation for an offbeat horror flick, and in addition, there were even a few jokes in the movie that had almost caused me to smile. I think the biggest problem this movie has is that it wants to be funny, scary, and a teen drama, but it just isn't well written enough to successfully be any of those things, let alone all of those things combined. On a more science fiction level, I also think that the idea of appliances and computers randomly rising up against humans in this way that it's presented in the movie is just too silly. Now, some of you may tell me, maybe this movie was meant to be a satirical comedy, but even if that were the case, the movie simply isn't funny enough to fit that category either. Ultimately, this movie, in spite of its rather ambitious concept, just isn't executed well enough to be taken seriously in any genre or style. It's a movie with an idea that I don't completely dislike, but at the same time, it never really comes together in a satisfactory way, which means that the best score that I could give Y2K is 48 out of 100, which is a fail, and even that is rather generous. As for Rachel Zegler, I would argue that this is probably her best acting performance to date. Not because she's especially good in the movie, but rather because the movie doesn't really demand much of her acting-wise, and since most of her scenes are also shared with several other actors, she comes off as a bit less annoying than usual. But none of that really matters, because unless Zegler can start showing some real, actual box office receipts, I think that she may be offered less and less movie roles moving forward. But regardless, if you enjoyed my commentary and analysis, please make sure to like, subscribe, and follow my channel, where you'll always get the latest in pop culture news and reviews. Thanks for watching, my friends. Thank you, and good day!